We're talking about divorce, guys. A lot of people, Gen X, I'm looking at you, were quite triggered last week when mom and dad, Elon and Trump, broke up. But all jokes aside, it got me thinking about divorce again. I was 12 years old when my parents split up, and my husband was 10 when his parents got divorced. And about a year ago, I wrote a piece for Spectator called Divorce Never Ends, talking about the long term effects of divorce. And it went viral. It was crazy. Needless to say, folks had a lot of feelings about it. It trended for 2 days on X, and I received emails and direct messages and even phone calls about it. I heard heartbreaking stories from grown adults who said the piece put them right back to being a kid in a world torn apart. And I heard from women and men, often defensive, about their reasons for ending their marriage, feeling that I was somehow judging them and not realizing that they were judging themselves. I heard from other adults telling me to quit whining, grow up, and get over it. But here's the thing, you never get over it. The two people involved don't get over it, even as they move on with their lives and marry other people. And neither do the kids. That's not to say that people aren't resilient and they won't move on, but acting like it wasn't the single most impactful event in my young life isn't helpful either. As I write this monologue, and I'm going to try and not get emotional because my rule is never ugly cry on the internet. The news just broke that Brian Wilson of the Beach Boys has died. A true genius. His music has been with me my whole life. And weirdly, see, I'm getting emotional. The Beach Boys, in particular, brings me back to exactly the moment before my parents split up. This is the power of music. I was about 11, and my little sister and I would play with our California Barbies, our Beach Boys' greatest hit cassette tape on repeat. I didn't know it then, but it was the end of my innocence and the end of my family as I knew it. But the weird thing about divorce and our culture, the breaking up of a family has been so normalized in our culture that the pain from such a rupture is minimized, and the decision to get divorced can be taken too lightly. It alters the trajectory of everyone in the family. It's a fork in the road, a breaking apart of something sacred. As I made clear in the piece, getting out of an abusive, toxic relationship is different than ending a marriage because you're over it or bored or don't want to do the hard work to stay together. And rightfully, there is a lot of debate about this. After my piece, I heard from adults who argued their parents would have been better off divorced. I heard over and over again, more is caught than taught, meaning that if kids are observing a loveless marriage, it's worse for them than if their parents split up and found true happiness and love. I can't say I entirely disagree either. That's the paradox of being a product of divorce. At a certain point, you don't remember your parents being together, and in fact, you can't imagine them ever getting a degree. Children in two parent homes are less likely to experience behavioral issues, get in trouble with the law, or drop out of school. I am living proof of all of these things, but this subject is complex and deserves thoughtful consideration and compassion. There's so much shame and regret that surrounds people who get divorced, and you can't know what you don't know. Making that decision is different than living that decision. When suddenly you're alone on Christmas at 60 years old, swiping on a dating app, wondering, was it really that bad?